All right, and this next sketch is going to be color and spatial relationships. I think I have to do some, I'm going to do it with collage, but I think I have to paint some more pieces of paper. You want big, saturated, and warm pieces for the front, and everything's going to get smaller and colder and darker and more desaturated going back in space, right? Until you have this dark background. So I'm thinking about that. So I'm thinking big and bold foreground shapes to start. I'll leave this stuff on my palette from the previous sketch. It'll be okay, I think. But let me go first. That's cold, so that's gonna be like second to last layer. That's blue. Do a big amount of prismatic blue. Okay, that's probably all I need. And then I want maybe some green back there too. Around the middle in terms of depth. Okay, lime green. That was my warm blue and my cool yellow. All right, so that's not quite the front. Let me do the front too. I'm gonna want like a bright yellow, maybe a warm yellow. Get the green out of my brush. And then let's go for a warm red. I'll leave the yellow in my brush. Okay, so this is foreground stuff. You're gonna need more. If that was your final, you're gonna have to paint a bit more and bigger because the final piece will be a larger size. I think 8 by 10. So a little bit bigger, but you might have enough left over. We'll see. And then, so now I'm going back in space. I'm still with those cool saturated and warm saturated, those kind of coming towards the front. These will be the very front, and these will be going back. And then I want to desaturate my color a little bit. So I'm gonna take some of my green and desaturate it with some, I'm gonna go a little bit darker in value. I have orange on my brush. I'm gonna leave it on my brush. I'm gonna grab some of this blue and mix it in this green. That's very desaturated. But that's okay, that can be towards the back. I'm gonna go a little bit more saturated. I have to decide if I want to go towards red or green or blue. I think I'll go towards blue because I have all this blue here, so. Because colder, further back, right? So I'm going more towards blue. I like this. This is cool, but it's like a teal that's kind of muddy, muted teal. And I think I want to go one more step in saturation up. And maybe I want like a warmer, muted color. So I'm gonna go for this orange here and just grab some of this. Okay, and then I want to do a more saturated what do I want? I've got green and blue near the front, orange and yellow, and this is a lot of different colors. I feel like I'm mostly cold with what's happening with what I'm doing, so I think I'll stay. But I have these pops of warm. I think I'll not do any more warm, just so that it's more one way over another instead of just like equal, which is too much competition. So I'm gonna go for a desaturated blue and a desaturated green. So I'm gonna rinse out my brush. Rinse out my brush and grab some of this blue. And I'll desaturate it over here. I can bring some white into this too. Okay, relatively smooth application on the paper, and then I have this green from before. I want it to be a little bit more saturated. Let me get some more cooled yellow to start. See how that comes out. That's nice. Added a little bit of water. Okay, so yeah, I had like a streak of orange in the middle of my brush, so I just have to do this going back and forth so that everything mixes together to be one color here. my desaturated green. Okay, so I've got a lot to choose from once they're dry. And then I'll be cutting out. Let me actually, let me pull this phone out of the holders. Yeah, lots to choose from. And I'll be cutting them out when they're dry and making a collage. Again, for color and spatial relationships, we're doing dark in the background, desaturated is farther away, colder is farther away. So it's going to be increasing. To get closer, it's increasing in temperature, increasing in brightness, increasing in saturation. Okay, all right. I'll continue when these things are dry. I am back. I flattened my painted paper and I'm ready to do a color and spatial relationships collage sketch. On 4x6. I need a dark color in the background. I guess could be a purple, perhaps. That's a good way to go. I don't mind things getting mixed with what's here before, so I'm just gonna continue with a dirty palette. It's all right. Maybe I'll get some warm red going to make it more muted, and mix that with water. See how dark that gets. Test it on some white paper. That's rather dark, like a brown. I want to add a little bit more blue, I think. Okay, and then I'll just use I'll dip my brush in water. I'll use my dirty brush to start. And see what we get here. Now it's kind of like a greenish, bluish brown. And I like that. Okay, that's very dark. I will paint my entire postcard with that. It's a dark chromatic violet, I think. It's hard to tell at this point. It has violet tones to it. I could do the scraping thing. Yeah, you can see violet. Yeah. So I'm working my way up, going to brighter values, warmer temperatures, and more saturation. So some of these will be near the back. So I'll make some shapes. I'm gonna just cut some shapes. Maybe I'll move my palette over since I'm done with it, I think. Move my paper under the camera. My 4x6 card is not very big. what I'm getting at is that I don't have to cut a big thing, and then we're trying to go bigger in size anyway, going up in value, temperature, saturation, and size. So I can cut out shapes out of these that are smaller. On the smaller side. I think I need to put a new blade. I'll do that after I finish this one. I'll put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Sharper vision, sharper blade, but I'll continue with this dull blade for now. This might be a little bigger than I want, so I'm gonna make two things out of this one. There's a shape, and then I'll go a little bit skinnier, like let's give this one like a tail. Yeah, okay, so I'll use those. Not even sure if I want that there. Okay. And then next level. I think any of these other three would be okay. This is warmer, so I'm gonna stick. Maybe I'll go with cold, the blue or the green first. And we want to have some overlapping starting to happen too. Kind of drawing in space what kind of thing I want to happen here for myself, just to think about what I want to do next. I didn't change my blade, did I? I would like to. Okay, I could do one more green thing. Whoa, that work cut so much nicer. Okay, and then let's go to the blue. I mean, which I'm kind of curious the value difference, since we're thinking about temperature and value. $70 and and $80. Okay, well, they're pretty close. This is darker. So, but yeah, I don't know. So maybe they're about equal in terms of how close they're gonna appear. But I'll just do the blue next. What kind of shape do I want for my blue? Maybe something that'll cut across. Be a little bit bigger, perhaps. I like that as the only muted red, just like that. It's kind of connecting things, and that's interesting to me. And then I can move to, I think this green, it's getting more saturated. It's still a cooler temperature than this per se, but the saturation's getting up there. So this one might appear closer, and the value is getting brighter. And I want to get bigger in size for sure now. So I'll do like something like that. Stretched out bean shape. Should have made it bigger. At the risk of crowding it, I'm gonna go ahead and stop with the green and go to my next two colors, because I'm getting pretty filled up here with stuff. So I think this feels warmer than that. So I'm gonna get a big yellow shape. Not gonna do anything cliche like a star or anything. Am I? Yes, I am. I was in love with Miro when I was a kid, so I think I still am, but yeah. The stars remind me of Miro, the Spanish artist. Okay, there's my star, and I'll get some glue on there. Might not still be big enough, but I'll go bigger. I think that's good right here in the center. Okay, I like that. And then maybe some kind of orange thing that's overlapping these things. I just poked myself. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's almost too much, right? I think that's good. Move it over here so I can see some of the other shapes, and I'll just cut it off here. Well, I'll glue it first. And I think I want another orange piece somewhere. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's do that. Okay, the thing about improvising is it's fun and it's interesting and exciting and surprising, but when you're doing it for a sketch, that means I have to, if I choose this one as for my final project, I have to replicate it, which that'll be cool, but it'll be a different feeling, right, than just kind of winging it. You have to try to replicate what you did when you were winging it. I mean, yeah, not 100. I wouldn't do it 100%. Being an artist is allowing some changes, I think. But yeah, I would, if I were to choose this one, I would get pretty close, or try to get pretty close to this. But yeah, I like this. This is my second sketch. So far I have a complementary mixing where I painted directly, and then this one is color and spatial relationships where I painted dark on the background and then I used collage pieces for the rest of it, which allowed me to improvise in this way and not worry about the colors running into each other. Keeping my edges nice and clean too. All right, that's 2 out of 4.